Shakeylia Anderson was your typical 17-year-old, excited about turning 18 and graduating high school in the spring. She loved attending school and was active in her church. She was considered bright, dedicated, and outgoing by those who knew her. The evening of December 5th, 2008, Shakeylia and her cousin Dixie were spending time at their grandmother's house in Gulfport, Mississippi, being typical teenage girls, doing their hair and hanging out. Their uncle came by to visit and noticed a cell phone ringing in the living room. The caller ID said the call was from someone named Bo. He asked the girls whose it was. Shakeylia said it was hers. He overheard her conversation, and it seemed as though she was agreeing to get ready and meet up with someone. About 10 p.m., she left her grandmother's house and was observed walking up to a white Ford Taurus, speaking to the male driver, then getting in. They drove off. The next evening, a hunter was searching for one of his dogs that had strayed from the pack in a secluded wooded area in northern Harrison County, in DeSoto National Forest, when he stumbled across a dead body lying on a dirt logging road. He called 911. Law enforcement arrived at the scene in the early morning hours of December 7, 2008. They found the unclothed body of a young female. She was missing hair, covered with blood and dirt, appeared to have been partly burned, and had at least 3 tire marks across her body. Close by, they found a burned patch of grass and what appeared to be drag marks towards the spot where the body was found. There was also broken glass from a bottle of New Amsterdam gin and a burnt piece of cloth. There were also several tire tracks in a circling pattern around the body. It was concluded, based on the visual evidence and the condition of the body, that she had been run over by a vehicle, most likely a car. The victim was identified as 17-year-old Shakeylia Anderson. Going off her cousin and uncle's stories from the night she left her grandmother's, investigators were able to start searching for a man from nearby Moss Point, Mississippi, who goes by the nickname Bo and drives his mother's white Ford Taurus, identified as 27-year-old Leslie Galloway. He was taken into custody in Jackson County on unrelated charges, traffic violations, and unpaid fines. He was also out on bond from a 2003 sexual assault charge. Galloway was arrested on December 9, 2008. While processing the car, investigators noticed a small piece of possible evidence dangling from underneath the passenger side. There was also broken glass on the lip of the trunk and blood found above the trunk release latch and the left rear passenger door close to the handle. Also, one half of the vehicle's undercarriage appeared to be wiped cleaner than the other. A stringy tissue-like substance was collected from under the car as well. Both the substance and the blood were a match for Shakeylia Anderson's DNA. With a search warrant for Galloway's home, a pair of Nike shoes, an Atlanta Braves baseball hat, a Burger King shirt with the name tag Bo, and an empty bottle of New Amsterdam gin were found. Shakeylia's DNA was found on the shoes and baseball hat. Additionally, there was an imprint of a tire tread on her leg, and that tire tread and a serial number linked Galloway to the crime. During interrogations, Galloway claimed to have been dating Shakeylia since November of 2008. Phone records show the two had been in contact since then. It is unclear what motives he had that night in committing such a heartless, cruel attack. Galloway was arrested and charged with capital murder. During the trial, expert witnesses testified that Shakeylia died from being crushed by the vehicle, damaging her internal organs and puncturing her lungs, but not before Galloway had assaulted her viciously, cut her throat, and set her on fire and was dragged by the car as well. In September 2010, Leslie Galloway III was convicted of capital murder. The same jury that convicted him spent less than 2 hours deliberating before agreeing on Galloway's sentence. In the state of Mississippi, the death penalty is an option in capital murder cases, but state law does not require it. Jurors can impose a life sentence without parole. On September 24, 2010, at the Harrison County Courthouse, he was sentenced to death for the capital murder of Shakeylia Anderson. Galloway argued in the state appeals court that he would not have been eligible for the death penalty had it not been for the testimony of a forensics pathologist about the incredibly brutal sexual assault he committed towards Shakeylia. The defense claimed the pathologist who testified gave his opinion but did not mention scientific principles or methodology. The Mississippi Supreme Court said the pathologist's testimony did not go beyond his expertise. They were arguing this notion because the especially heinous assault is what heavily influenced the jury's sentencing decision, as they were well within their legal right to do so. The appeal was denied. Galloway even attempted to have his case heard by the United States Supreme Court. In May of 2014, the Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal. Galloway waits on death row at the Mississippi State Penitentiary in Parchman. Thank you for watching Justice Calls. Are you listening?